followers, the reaction was so beautiful, so poignant, that it even touched Mr. Beast himself. And to see those videos, you just have to look at Mr. Beast on YouTube to see why they're making millions of dollars on YouTube and we are not.
We will link people up at herenow.org. But meanwhile, let's go to Facebook, because 300,000 users have signed up to attend a virtual second inauguration for President Trump on January 20th. Of course, he did not win. He will not be inaugurated. The real inauguration is for Joe Biden. But talk about the creators of this event.
So this is not a joke. This is a real virtual event that is planned for the 20th of January 2021 at 12 p.m. Eastern. So the group who put it together, they describe themselves as a grassroots collection of private individuals. They're supporters of President Donald J. Trump, and they are putting on this virtual event to basically is counter-programming against the real inauguration. And Facebook have very quite carefully labelled this as it's misinformation. They have a link where you can get tickets for this virtual inauguration of President Trump, and you can get the tickets there. But Facebook say that this is not accurate election information. This is where you need to click to get accurate information, and say what you just said and what many journalists continue to say when Trump supporters say and claim that President J. Trump should be president next year after January the 20th. 66,000 people say that they are definitely attending, and more have said that they are interested, Robin. So it gives you an idea of the little corners of the internet and social media where there are different points of view.
Look, we've only got a minute, and I want to make sure we get another corner of the universe there. It's the Black Twitter. You've got one story to tell us?
Yes, I do. All right, so December the 21st, for various reasons, became known as the Negro Solstice, the day when people on Black Twitter would get superpowers. It was all to do with Lottie Dot, who said on this day, we would wake up as people of color with amazing superpowers. Black Twitter had a field day. If you look out Black Twitter and Negro Solstice, you'll see some of the very, very funny memes. And then also some pushback from Janny G, who said, you are going to owe that girl an apology when December the 21st hits and we all wake up as X-Men. I am not an X-woman.
Femi, I'm going to have to leave it at that.
Next year.
Yeah. I'll hook people up. Femi OK of the Stream Al Jazeera English, thank you.
You're so welcome.
I'm Robin Young. It's Here and Now.
Funding for Here and Now comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston and your NPR station. And Geico, offering motorcycle and RV insurance. More information available on motorcycle and RV insurance at geico.com or 1-800-947-AUTO.
I'm Robin Young. We'll get the latest on the vaccine effort, hear from a so-called COVID-19 long hauler, and review the year in tech. It was a pretty good year for big tech firms.
For those who could work at home, it is remarkable how many things we were able to keep going in some form thanks to tech.
Next time, Here and Now.
President Obama looks at me and he says, "Oh, how's it going, David?" I had exactly one thought in that moment. I did not realize we were going to have to answer questions.
Join us next time for more True Stories Told Live. This week, stories about being called to serve. That's the Mouth Radio Hour from PRX.
Saturday afternoon at 2 on 89.7 NPR News. Get in the holiday spirit with the Call the Midwife Christmas special. Watch Friday night at 9 on WOSU TV. This is listener-supported WOSU FM and HD1 Columbus and online at WOSU.org. A service of WOSU Public Media, 89.7 NPR News. Global, local. Funding for Here and Now comes from MathWorks, creators of MATLAB and Simulink software, accelerating the pace of engineering and science. Learn more at mathworks.com.
From NPR and WBUR Boston, I'm Robin Young. Merry Christmas, Here and Now. Coming up. up, the pandemic dominated global news in 2020. We'll speak with the BBC's Lise Doucette about an unprecedented year.
This was a virus which underlined that borders in our time really cannot contain the threats of our time.
Also, with COVID-19 raging, we'll take a powerful trip inside a Houston hospital where this patient had a frightening realization.
Kind of like messed up from those symptoms that I got when I got it. I should have went to the ER room or the hospital right away, but I didn't. I laid in bed thinking it was going to go away.
And in our annual tradition, my former high school choral director, Mr. Cohen, with hope in this horrendous year, coming up here now. The news is first.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. The FBI is leading an investigation into a large explosion that rocked Nashville today. Damon Mitchell from member station WPLN reports the blast, which appears to be intentional, has caused extensive damage in the downtown area and has left several people injured.
The blast came just minutes after Nashville police responded to a shots fired call in the city's downtown. There was no sign of gunfire when they arrived. Instead, they saw a suspicious RV and called in the bomb squad. While it was en route, the RV exploded. The blast was heard for miles and carried into nearby cities. Blocks of downtown Nashville were covered in shattered glass and debris. One police officer suffered temporary hearing loss, and another was knocked to the ground by the explosion. Nashville police say while they believe the blast was intentional, they don't expect for there to be any other threats. The wreckage left a small fire, and the smoke could be seen from outside the downtown limits. For NPR News, I'm Damon Mitchell in Nashville.
Starting Monday, the U.S. will require all passengers flying to the U.S. from the United Kingdom to provide proof of a negative coronavirus test before they can board a plane. As NPR's Michaeline Duclef reports, the requirement follows the emergence of a new strain of the virus detected in the UK, which is believed to be more contagious.
The UK is seeing a big surge in COVID-19 cases and hospitalizations. Scientists there now have evidence that this surge is caused by a new variant of the virus, which they estimate is 50% more transmittable than previous versions. To stop the spread of this variant to the U.S., the CDC says passengers in the UK must be tested for COVID-19 3 days before their flight, and they must present proof of a negative test to the airline before boarding. The new requirement becomes effective on December 28th. Michaeline Duclef, NPR News.
A winter storm has grounded flights and forced the closure of interstate highways in parts of the upper Midwest. NPR's Dave Mistich reports Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas are digging out from more than a foot of snow in some areas.
The National Weather Service reports between 7 inches to more than a foot of snowfall across parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin over the past 2 days. Travelers who have brushed off public health warnings to stay home for the holidays because of the coronavirus pandemic found themselves stranded. Airports across the region canceled flights, and a 120-mile stretch of Interstate 90 was shut down. Governor Tim Walz has activated the Minnesota National Guard to help stranded motorists along highways in the southern part of the state. The National Weather Service is warning that some parts of North Dakota and Minnesota could experience wind chills below zero. Dave Mistich, NPR News.
You're listening to NPR News in Washington. Members of the European Union are spending the day reviewing the massive free trade deal between Britain and the EU. Negotiators reached an agreement on Thursday, with a week left before the Brexit transition period was scheduled to end. A human rights activist in Afghanistan was shot dead by gunmen today. NPR's Dia Hadid reports the woman is the latest victim in a series of assassinations that have rocked the country.
Farishta Kohistani and her brother became the latest people to be killed by shadowy assailants. They've been targeting Afghans in increasing numbers since peace talks began between the Afghan government and the Taliban. Most of the attacks have gone unclaimed, including an election independence monitor, the deputy governor of Kabul, an Associated Press journalist, countless policemen. But ISIS did say they were behind at least one of the incidents, which killed